It worked. Is your audio working?
It is. Should we put our boat back?
What happened to the boat? You need an American flag.
Yeah.
America.
All right, we're live again. What's going on, guys? I'm here with Mr. Rolling Operations. How's it going?
Good. I'm just going to start to think that's my last name eventually.
Probably. How are you faring in this 10 inches or more of snow right now?
Miserable. Actually, dumpsters obviously aren't really... I had a guy text me today, said, hey, the dumpster's ready. And I said, I'm not. I was like,
Can't
I'm not
really,
picking it up.
Can you even pick a dumpster up right now?
I could, and I have, but they're where this one is. I know I can't. It's deep. I couldn't possibly get to it without getting stuck, and I knew that when I said it. I was like, this guy's gonna get a dumpster for a couple extra days for free because I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's rough right now. We just got probably at least 10 inches of snow maybe.
Yeah, at least. In some spots where it's drifting, it's much higher.
Yeah.
My back tells me so because my back is very sore.
Yeah, a couple guys like Brenner,
yes.
I watched, he was out for 24 hours straight pushing snow.
I know a guy that was out for well over 30.
That's crazy.
He texted me that night. He said, hey, do you have any weightlifting plates? I said,
to throw on the back of the truck or something?
Yeah, well, he had that on the back of his four-wheeler and stuff. And I said, yeah. He said, do you mind if I borrow them? And I was like, yeah, no big deal. And I looked on the camera. He came and picked them up at it was 2:36 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And that's when he started. And then
Sheesh.
I saw him later in the evening at 9 o'clock, and he still was pushing snow. I was like, oh my
That's
gosh.
crazy.
The funny thing is, in this business, being this blue-collar, entrepreneurial, whatever you want to call it, those guys like Brenner and the guys that do all that lawn care that automatically get this business, I'm finding myself grouped in with them because I got so many messages in the last couple of days that are all said the same type of thing. Do you know anybody that plows snow or plows driveways? And I know what they're asking. They're actually asking, hey, do you shovel snow? But they're trying to do it without actually asking me to do it.
Right.
And I just gave out names of people who I do know do it. But it's just kind of interesting.
It's just like when someone knows you have a truck, you're going to be the one that gets called. Hey, I'm moving some furniture. Can you come help? Mm-hmm. They know you've got equipment and you've got the know-how. Hey, Clayton, do you do this?
Yeah. So it was just kind of interesting. I was like, I've obviously thought about doing it, but I've helped guys do it. I've seen it done. I see what it does to their equipment, and I'm just like,
it's rough.
No thanks. That's a rough couple days.
All right, so Clayton, what are we going to talk about today? You had a couple ideas.
I had a couple ideas. Yeah, you're always coming to the table. I think we should talk kind of about, and I think that's a good transition from what I just said, being in a certain market and people coming to you for advice or hoping that maybe you can help is the idea of kind of selling without selling. And I feel like we dance around this topic a lot, you and I, but without even thinking about it. Because just a couple days ago, I called you in particular about something specific where I said, hey, do you know this person calling from whatever financial planning firm it was? And you just kind of laughed and you said, which one, which firm, what's their name? Because we're getting these calls all the time.
Yep.
Small town people, see people making certain moves and they just kind of want to get in on it and they want to help you with your finances and get you set. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And it's interesting to talk to these guys because some of them, they'll give you free advice over the phone. Some of it's pretty, you've already thought about it, but it's nice to hear them say. Other guys, oh, well, let's sit down, let's do this, let's do that, and it just feels. Would you ever talk to some of them and you're like, oh, this is a car salesman trying to sell me a financial plan?
Yeah, for sure. I think it all goes back to reputation. What is that person's reputation? What is, because your concept going back to selling without selling, mm-hmm. ultimately it falls back on what is your reputation? Mm-hmm. Why would these people be coming to you? Or
yeah, true. But at the same time, it's why would I entrust people that I don't really know either?
Yeah.
So, to go back even farther, think about how much free advice do you think you give out all the time?
I
And
don't know.
it might not even be advice, free opinions. Let's just call
Yeah.
them free opinions.
I mean, quite a bit, especially if you follow me on social media.
Yeah, okay, social media, and then just locally, people you know, right?
Yeah.
People looking for a house, you being an agent, me being a mortgage lender, I get calls all the time saying, hey, I didn't get approved at XYZ Bank, and somebody told me to give you a call.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time. They'll, XYZ Bank does not approve these people who've been banking there for, 10, 15, 20 years because that's where their parents went. That's what they know. And they say, no, you can't have a house. Come back when you have 20% down.
Yeah.
And like a 700 credit score. And they don't even tell them, here are your other options. Here's what you need to do to get to XYZ. And it's just interesting, the difference in technique, I guess.
So again, like define what you mean by selling without selling. Like, what does that mean?
So I think it's actually, it pays to pay it forward, if that makes sense. It's like, I don't necessarily need to work so hard. And that is what I have found to be my biggest revenue generator for myself, is not working hard to get business. I remember even just like right when I got started in anything that involved me trying to like solicit money from somebody else, whether it was mortgage loans, dumpster rentals, back to like even mowing grass as a kid. The harder I tried to like, hey, I can do this,
Yeah.
and this for you, the worse it was. I was always chasing money. I was always only focused on, I need to get money out of that guy's pocket because he needs me to do this for him. But that never seemed to work.
It's tough because like when you're young and just getting started in business or whatever,
You're just
it's kinda
ambitious.
like you have to be the guy that's kind of hounding,
Yes.
others for business. But a good example of, once you do get started and going, like for instance, the last park that I bought, mobile home park, it was brought to me by my banker. Well, that's because it was like I had proven the track record. I wasn't calling him and be like, hey, find me a park, find me a deal. It's like it just kind of came to me, kind of like what you're saying. It's like once you're in the in the business, things are going well. You're building the reputation. It's almost like things are just starting to flow to you.
Exactly. For example, my boss, who's a mortgage lender, I don't think she spends an absolute dime on any advertising. I don't really either. But I've learned from her, it's all about referrals. And even with as low on the totem pole as like dumpster rentals, like just not being a pain or being rude goes a long way in that industry, and working with people. But so back to like the banker, calling you or whatever, people are calling me as well, asking for like, hey, what do I need to do? Just because simply nobody else told them, nobody gave them guidance. So I'm giving advice to people that cannot buy a house right now. I have somebody who has a bad credit score, or it's not even really a bad credit score. It's that far off from a loan program, and I can look and be like, okay, here are your debts, here are your credit cards, get them to this balance, pay off that thing to this balance, and you're going to see your credit score improve by this much. I won't see that person for 4 more months. But rather than that car dealer that never fails when I drive through that car lot for the 50th time this year, that runs out the door trying to get my business, handing me a credit card or their business card. I kid you not. I drove onto the lot at one of our dealerships in town, and what's hot right now? Trucks, right?
Yeah.
Everybody selling trucks. They're super expensive. So of course I roll up in my truck, which is worth way more now than what I paid for it. And I don't know what it is. It's this like 4 car dealers. It was like watching deer pop out of the woods, like pop their heads up as I pulled onto the lot, out on the parking lot, and started walking toward all of them. All walked towards me, and like 1 or 2 backed off. The other 2 walked out with their cards in their hand. I was like, this is...
So what would your advice be to these people then?
Be like, hey, it's one thing to just like, rush up to somebody. It's another thing to be like, hey man, if you need the keys, you want to take a look at it, let me know. You just kind of wave me down, I'll come back. That to me is better than be like, hey, what do you want to know about this truck? It's fully You're not going to tell me anything more about that truck than I already know. Personally, at least me, I think you need to know your audience when you're approaching somebody like that too. If I'm rolling up in a similar compatible vehicle, I already know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And don't try to tell me more about the vehicle than I'm already going to know.
Yeah.
Because that can be something you do while you're driving around. Hey, yeah, did you notice that now the cup holders are chilled? You know, like, that's one thing. But just coming up and just trying to force it onto somebody. Yeah, here's my card. Call me right away if you need. No, that's so pushy.
Yeah, I get it. Yep. So, I mean, in other words, again, like, it's more about, you're probably more likely to shop with any type of salesman or business where you have heard that they're good, or you've built a relationship with them, rather than like the pushy.
Oh, 100%. And I think I've just found myself gravitating towards that style of selling now. And I don't feel like I'm selling. I don't, like you said, business just kind of feels like it's coming to me now because I don't have anything. I don't have a want. I don't have a need to try to pull money out of somebody's pocket. And that, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I need to be like, I need to get that guy's business.
This is a good place to be when you don't feel like you have that pressure hanging over your
Yes.
shoulder.
I mean, when it first starts, it's there. But once you just kind of get rolling, it's more like, here, I'm going to help him out with a little bit of stuff. And then if he needs anything more than that, we'll talk compensation.
Yeah.
Like helping people with website building or any marketing. Like, I'll do consulting for that. But I'll help them a little bit first.
How many people do you have? I mean, you've kind of told me offline, but you've had quite a few people reach out about, I mean, they see your videos online.
Yeah.
And reach out and call you. Like, how many? Like, one a week?
Yesterday, I got 3 calls within 6 minutes. And it was really weird because it happened like bang, bang, bang. And even my brother's like, dude, what is going on? And it's not like, I'm not even like that popular on YouTube in my opinion, but I'm getting phone calls all the time.
But see, I think that that kind of goes back to, like, you're not telling these people on the videos, like, hey, call me, I want to sell you something.
No.
You're adding value to them through the information you're sharing.
And
they trust you because you're authentic, and then they're coming to you.
Well, that's all. Again, yeah, exactly. Because a lot of these, at least with the dumpster rentals, I document my dumpster rentals, obviously, online. A lot of these guys get into this industry because they watch YouTubers who are like, yeah, you can make $10,000 a month, but then you're not going to make any more money for 9 months because of XYZ, or yeah, you're totally operating illegally. Like, they're seeing these YouTubers the gurus making it look so easy and there's nothing to it, when on the other hand, I'll be like, hey, yeah, you can make money in this, but these are the steps you still need to go through, and these are the things you need to consider. I figured out these things the hard way, and I think there's that level of trust. The guy I was just talking to you before this, who called me and asked me to build him a website, that's literally what he said to me. He's like, I know this is weird, but for whatever reason, I trust you. He's like, I've been watching your stuff for a while. He's like, I don't know you really, but I do trust you, and I'm willing to pay you to build my website.
That's what's interesting just about social media in general. It's like, so I really struggle, honestly, with being on social media. I don't enjoy being on it myself. I love making the content, but like the value
being on it and like looking at other stuff.
Yeah. The value though that you can add to other people and even to yourself through like creating this, because you're it's almost like you're building a relationship with people you don't know, and then that could come back to you in multiple ways, whether it's someone calling you for a website, whether it's someone calling you and saying, hey, I got this building for sale, or like, hey, I need a loan. It's just, you never know. And that's why, I mean, like, even the audience that's watching this, I mean, if you're in some sort of like service-based business, or you're looking to or do something like being a realtor or something like that, building a presence may not be a bad thing, even though it's not always fun to be like, you're kind of painting a bullseye on your forehead by being, online and all that. However, like, there's also a lot of benefits that can come from it.
I think it comes back to building a brand.
Yeah.
I think that's 10 times more important than always pushing your product or your service on somebody. It's creating a brand that people can interact with in like cross-marketing perspectives. Like, they see you on Facebook, whether it's you're doing, just a video unrelated to your business, but somehow you're showing them like, hey, I'm out in the public.
Yep.
And then charity events.
Well, I
Google,
mean,
everything.
I feel like you've done a couple different things in your business. I mean, like, so you started rolling operations as a dumpster business, but then you've also transitioned that a little bit into some storage, which then you also created this toy drive in the winter that is also like building kind of your reputation in your business, and
Yeah.
you've got multiple things that you're doing.
Yeah, and then of course then the I guess that you could call it the YouTube presence that goes well outside of like our local community. So that's become even more interesting. Like you said, I've learned so much by getting calls from other people asking for advice, only to hear like what they're also doing in similar industries, but always a little different, or in similar demographics and areas. And it has given me so many ideas and also helped me save other people like thousands of dollars just based on they'll tell me one thing. Oh, I want to operate here. It'd be like, dude, check your local laws. I know that you can't operate there because the XYZ company has a contract. I had one guy who called and he's like, yeah, I want to start here and I don't see anybody around. Nobody's operating around here. I said, yeah, go ahead and check your local government.
So you actually can't. There's areas where you can't.
Yeah, it's very mobbish to me, honestly.
Well, legit might be the mob.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, I thought about that in a couple ways. Right now, there's apparently a company going around blacklisting every Google My Business account that's associated with dumpsters.
Okay.
And so they get you to, they block your account or they flag your account, and then later they call you basically saying, hey, we know how to get your account reactivated. Pay us, so that essentially what they're actually doing is they're protecting themselves. They're protecting you against themselves, which is essentially mob/mafia like activity, but online. And they're essentially just trying to fill their money or their pockets with money for doing literally nothing. But the whole idea also comes back to these contracts that's how some of these big conglomerates are getting around the whole small dumpster guy right now. Is they're going into, let's say, Quincy, and they're going, hey, we will do your trash for XYZ per year, but it comes with a non-competitive clause. Nobody else can pick up your trash or rent dumpsters in this area. And that's where some of these guys are finding that the hard way, and losing a lot of money.
All right, so I switching gears a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, we're going on.
I want to ask, so the dumpster rental business, like, okay, so you are a mortgage lender and a dumpster rental guy. Like, for those who are watching this who, like, probably found you through the dumpster end of things or our dumpster videos.
Your dumpster videos.
My dumpster videos. What do you feel like is good? Like, are there businesses out there that make sense to be paired with the dumpster rental business? Like, have you thought about, like, other businesses like you could get into that because I doubt many people are going to do the combination of like, hey, I'm going to be a mortgage lender and I'm going to be a dumpster rental guy. Like, that's very far.
Yeah.
What's something that lines up with dumpster rentals that you would be like, hey, this might be a good business idea?
Right now, I was thinking about that actually quite a bit. With 2 feet of snow on the ground, I was like, all right, if I wasn't a mortgage lender and I wasn't getting, X amount of money per month, and landlord, I'm getting, cash flow from my tenants too. Like, this would be a little disturbing this week. I mean, money dries up.
Right.
And so, granted, there's highs and lows, and don't spend all your money every week and you'll be okay. But if I wanted to like feel, and I have this need to feel like I'm making money all the time.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, it's stressing me out. So I have thought about this a lot, and I've told you, like, I'm definitely in some way going to get into the equipment rental business.
Okay.
So large equipment. I already have trailers. I already have the truck. Equipment rentals. Boom. Junk removal is a given. It's also a super saturated market. That is the problem, because everybody and their mom that has a pickup truck thinks they can do junk removal.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, and no offense to crackheads, but hopefully there's probably no crackheads watching this. But when I lived in St. Louis, you could literally
pay somebody $20 to pick up anything, or to put it on the street.
Yeah, pick up literally anything. Like, I had a basement cleaned out once and like threw it up on Craigslist. This was like 5 years ago.
Yep.
And had a bunch of people show up. I'm like, okay.
Oh, anytime I needed to get rid of a water heater when I lived in St. Louis, a refrigerator, any appliance type thing, I just put it on the street. bed frames,
Yeah.
gone. I mean,
But-
within hours.
But there is still a market, I guess, for like professional,
Yes.
removal
Yes,
of
and
items.
especially if you can't get the stuff out. There's guys I know down in Florida in retirement communities that just make an absolute killing because people die in retirement communities, and then their trust pays them to go in, and they said it's easy money. They go in
Like removing their items.
Yeah, most of the time they literally back their trailers up to the garage door and they load whatever the family said is trash that they've already separated, put in the garage, and they throw it in. They're making a couple $100 in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And say that's the easy money. So junk removal, I think equipment rentals there. Make sure your insurance is lined up. That's going to be your big hiccup. You're also let's see, the equipment. I've seen guys do landscaping. That's an easy one.
Yep.
If you have the equipment too, you can also do gravel. My gosh, I could go on so
Yeah,
long.
I feel like there's a lot. I feel like
snow removal.
Yeah,
If you've got an
snow
F-250, people say it can be pretty rough on your truck, but if you've got a couple trucks, you put a snow plow on the front of one of them. The pallet business. That's something that I find very interesting.
You've talked about that a little bit.
I've talked about it because I think it's so interesting, but I do not have the time to get into another thing, I think.
Maybe we start another series and start this little side business and see what
I
happens.
would love to do a YouTube channel of just every month I try a different side business
Yeah.
and see if I can make a legitimate profit doing it legally, operating correctly, not some of these guys who just are shady businesses cutting catalytic converters off the bottom of trucks.
I mean, there's so many ways you can make money. It's ridiculous. We don't have enough time. Time is so limited.
Yeah.
There's a channel on YouTube, and you probably watched it. I forget. It's called Upflip or something. I can't remember what it's called, but the guy literally travels around all over the country and meets with people like you who are doing dumpster rentals, who are flipping storage units, who are doing pallet businesses. It's very interesting.
Really?
Yeah. There's just so many ways that you can make money.
I think what people need to start looking at is revenue is obviously the game, right? What's my ROI? How much money you can make without really spending that much money is amazing with the stuff you already have. Guys who already have trucks. If somebody just went down the rabbit hole of Google, how to make money with a truck, it's incredible what you could literally make if you just get into the business. And
Yep.
I think the thing that people struggle with sometimes is there's so many options and you need to kind of stay in your lane. And I struggle with that all the time where I see all these ideas popping up around me where I could do that, I could do that, I could do
I know.
that. And it pays to be good at a couple things and not everything.
It's definitely, it's fun to make these videos and talk about all the different things and the ideas, but ultimately you and I think both realize that our time is best spent in a couple areas maybe, and that's something I've learned especially in the last couple years in real estate is I can act as a realtor and work my tail off and make a couple $100,000 a year or whatever it is. It's great. Or I can focus on finding really big real estate deals,
a couple.
Yeah, and buy a couple and be set for the year, and that's where my time is best spent.
That blows my mind every time you be like, "Hey, I found this thing," and I'm just like, "What?"
Yeah,
and you're I mean, I know there's so much more to it, obviously.
Yeah.
In the background, but it's just kind of I sometimes I think I spent so much time to make that type of money, and you found it in. I know it's not one day's work. It's literally months and months of research and talking and referrals and this and that. But it was, yeah.
I mean, the point of this whole conversation is eventually when you find your thing, hone into it and get good at it, and don't always be jumping around to different things because you're never really going to get too far if you're doing that.
Yeah, and nobody can also look at you always as a legitimate business. They're just going to see you as this. Not that a handyman's bad, because I use handyman all the time, but they're handymen doing one thing, working on your house or working on the exterior of your house. That's a handyman. But being this lawn care, dumpster, pallet removal, demolition, power washing,
jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, you're going to see that your revenue absolutely shrinks because you focused your mind on 50 things, when if you would have focused them on like 3,
Yeah.
you would have probably like,
Where is your
honed in
time
on your
best
money.
spent? I mean, like if you do an audit of your time and you're like, okay, where am I making the most money?
Oh,
Like,
I don't even want to look at
yeah,
that.
I know. I mean, but like it really, I'm best spent, and my time is best spent doing this. Like, hey, do you want to sell your property?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to sell your property? Like that's where I make my money. You make your money by selling dumpsters.
Yeah.
And so, like, you out there, I don't know, you don't
Me
have,
being forward facing in the community, I think, is where I make my money.
yeah,
And whether it's dumpsters or loans, it's like if people don't know I exist, I don't make money.
right, yeah,
And which is really weird, and it's that double-edged sword. Like, you don't like to be on social media, I don't really have a choice. Like, I have to be to get, like, you're in the background going, hey, do you want to sell your house? I'll give you the best deal. And here's me, hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm not selling to you, but I'm here. If you ever need me, call me. And they call me 6 months later.
reputation. Gotta have a good reputation.
Dude, you can be in a town like this, you can get burned like that.
Oh, I mean, you can't even in a large town.
Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely.
But you're right. I mean, it's in a smaller town, and this isn't even that small of a town. I mean, our metro, like
Yeah,
with
that's true.
areas, is probably what 70,000, 60.
With
I'm,
the rest of
I'm
them, yeah,
talking
with
like
everything around us.
neighboring
Yeah.
towns and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'd
So,
say.
in like a 40-minute radius or something. So,
And I think we've talked about it several times. Some of the people that are in certain industries, like the shadiness or the reputation they're building, we've even said, I've put literal like bets down. It's like, that man's gonna have a problem, and within the next 5 years, something's gonna happen. Like, he will destroy his reputation. So at all points, that's the only thing I feel like I'm ever doing. It's like, who's watching me? Like, I do not want my reputation, because my reputation will ruin all my businesses.
yeah.
Everything. And that's all there is to it. Cancel culture is real, and that's all there is to it.
And we're asking for it by putting everything
By putting
out
yourself
on social
out there.
media.
I mean,
Yeah.
by putting yourself out there, you are asking for people to judge you. That's all there is to it. Whether you like it or not, people are going to judge you. And by putting yourself out there all the time, giving your opinions, helping people, you do one person wrong, and all of a sudden the domino effect can happen where it's like, well, yeah, he kind of did this thing to me too, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're done.
Yep, there's been some, yeah, I mean,
We've seen it
yeah, it's bad.
locally and on a grand scale. So you just gotta watch yourself.
So, before we wrap this up, anything exciting, new, anything in the works that you want to share, or do we just keep people in suspense for what we're both working on? I mean, I'm not thinking of anything specific. I'm just like, is there anything you're doing right now?
I do have a couple things. Oddly enough, I'm not in the junk removal business in any way. Never have been in any way, and I don't really want to be. That was kind of one of the things you were saying. I don't really want to get into that business, but if the occasion comes around, I'll do it. And I showed you the property.
Yeah.
That would be if I had this junk removal job that I was asked to bid, and it's kind of this delicate situation where I need to be able to do it, but not also cost them a whole lot of money. But also, I'm not doing it for free.
Right.
But even by doing it at a discount or at a favored rate, it would be huge.
It's just such a massive job.
It would be massive.
And I know you already told me like your pricing and all that, and like by having you do it, they're getting a deal.
Yes.
And if they had like a professional,
Remember when I told you like this is gonna be like X amount of dollars, and you're like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. And then you went and saw it, and you're like, yeah, I think you underestimated that. Like,
yeah.
It's a big project.
So if that whole project does go through, you get the job. We'll have to maybe film a video.
Oh yeah.
Or a couple, or 100. I mean, that's a whole series.
Oh yeah.
So that'd be pretty exciting.
I've got that going, and then I've just got a couple properties. I'm taking a page out of your book. I just want to go bigger.
Clayton, when he has cash in his pocket,
it's burning.
He's gotta buy something.
It's gotta be burned. I gotta buy it before I just absolutely spend it on something I shouldn't.
Yeah.
So otherwise, I'd have 5 more bicycles, 3 more cars, and 50 more guns, because I like guns. I mean, I would just have all this
better to go spend your money on something like real estate rather than like, hey, let's go buy another liability.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm trying to do it, like you're saying, think bigger, because I see single families and duplexes all the time I want to buy. But I'm trying to think beyond that right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I still have fun sometimes looking at the smaller stuff, but I just know it's just.
I'm not ready to get like you, like syndicate money, find people to come buy stuff. You're talking about all that stuff, and I'm like, I am nowhere near that yet.
Yeah, it's just a mindset thing. I mean, I'm still struggling with it. There's guys younger than me that are just blowing by me by doing these like syndications and things, but topic for another video. I mean, yeah. So you're maybe looking at some more real estate. You're still writing loans.
What about you?
What am I doing?
I know you closed on something big, but you don't want to talk about it yet.
Yeah, I just closed on a property. It's going to be a fun one. I'm excited for my channel because it's going to be a property I can film a lot at.
Yeah.
That's the thing with real estate, with rental properties. Like, you really can't. You're renting that space to someone else. You can't just be up in their space filming. Like,
Man, it's weird. You just be the creepy landlord.
Yeah, you just don't want to do that, okay? So, like, give them their space. When a unit comes open, sure, you can go film. But this property that I purchased is one that I'm more open to film at. So, it'll be fun. What else? Yeah, what else is new? I mean, we're in the middle of winter right now, so there's not a whole lot going on. I mean,
the motivation is hard.
Yeah, both of our businesses are a little bit slow. So yeah, went and looked at actually a property for sale out in Arizona.
That was cool.
A couple weeks ago, so that was cool.
Put an offer on that, didn't you?
Yeah, we're working on it. That may come together. I'll let you guys know shortly. But other than that, I think we should probably get out of here. Get back to work.
I need to get to lunch.
Yeah.
I need to eat.
Yeah, I'm starving too. It's probably about noon now. So yeah, and I'm missing a bunch of calls.
Yeah, my phone's vibrating in my pocket like crazy right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching as always. Go check Clayton's channel out. You're probably at what? Over 2,000 subs
Whole
now.
2,000 subs,
Hey,
man!
You're catching me. So
we'll see if we can get to like 10,000 by the end of the year. We gotta do something crazy.
you'll get there.
We'll see.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Have a good one.